Welcome, everyone, to the first series preview of the 2025-2026 NHL season. The regular season is just about finished, and it's time for some playoffs. And the first series we're going to talk about here is the Metropolitan Division 2-3 matchup of the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers.
Battle of Pennsylvania.
This could be a fun season. Exactly. Battle of Pennsylvania is going to be how it's going to be marketed. We'll see how it actually plays out.
It's gonna be a battle. I think.
The
so. Question is whether it's like a hockey battle or a non-hockey battle.
Yeah. So obviously these two rivals, they're a couple hours of driving apart.
It's more than a couple. It's like 4.5.
Okay, 4.5 hours. I mean, that's still not bad. I think like less than an hour flight, usually for the teams. So you think that they're these big historic rivals, but I was surprised, as we see here with the records on the screen. I did pull their playoff history. This is the complete and total playoff history of the Penguins and the Flyers. Only 7 series.
Yeah, they were
since the 70s.
They were good at different times. When the Pens first came into the league, that was when the Flyers were very, very good and completely destroyed them. And then Mario Lemieux came around, flipped the script a little bit, and it's been much more even since then.
Yeah. Most recent result is the Penguins winning in 2018. But yeah, the Flyers have won 4 in their history. Penguins won 3. So see if Pittsburgh can even it up here. Looking at their records, these teams almost identical records. They're actually tied in the standings. Pittsburgh has 4 more points from overtime and shootout losses. Philadelphia has 2 more points from wins.
Yeah, the important thing, though, for the seeding of this, because the Penguins will be the home team, is that they have more regulation wins.
Yes. Which is what the no OT is regulation wins and regulation losses. Pittsburgh, 9th in the league in regulation wins. Philadelphia drawing dead even with 27 of their 43 coming in regulation, which is important because playoff overtime is different. It is infinite 20-minute periods of 5v5 until one team scores. So there's not going to be any 3v3, which is going to benefit both these teams. And there's not going to be any shootout, which is going to largely benefit Pittsburgh, who had the most shootout losses in the league, and harm Philadelphia, who had the most shootout wins in the league. The head-to-head, Pittsburgh got points in all their games against Philly, lost 2 in the shootout, won 2 in regulation. Both these teams have an identical home record, which is fun, 20, 13, and 8. Philly slightly better on the road, but again, these teams almost dead even.
Yeah.
And then pulling up their last 10, Philadelphia has come into these playoffs hot. It's something that we talked about when we were looking at who's going to make the playoffs, that whoever gets this 3rd spot in the Metro is going to have to have gone on a run in order to beat out the others. Philadelphia was the team that did it. We did not predict Philadelphia.
No. I think more so, Philadelphia obviously has played very well coming into here, but also the Islanders and the Blue Jackets just decided that they didn't have any interest in making the playoffs. Pretty big collapse from 2 of what were some of the hottest teams in the NHL when we made that video. So for us to, the immediate turnaround after that, including a coach firing, a probable coach firing now with what has happened in the Columbus Blue Jackets locker room.
It's either a coach firing or a lot of players getting fired.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. But Philly is the one to come out of that carnage. They've been playing very well. Because of that, the Penguins have not had to play for anything for a little bit. They've had this Metro 2 spot locked for the last little bit of games, so they've been resting their starters.
For the last 3 specifically, which, as you see, they've lost the last 3 games.
Yeah, they've been resting a lot of starters. They got a lot of old guys on the team. So they're definitely coming in with less immediate this breakneck pace. Like the Flyers are coming in playing well and stuff like that. Pittsburgh was playing extremely well before they started resting their starters. But that is that 1 to 2 week break kind of gonna come in and impact the start of the series. It definitely could.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, I mean, Pittsburgh wrapped up their season Tuesday night. The playoffs don't start till Saturday, and I don't know if they're going to be in the first day of games or in the second day of games. So between that time off and then also, the roster hasn't played a full game in almost a week.
Yeah.
We'll see if that rust sets in. I think it might set in game one. I don't think it'll affect the series long term unless they lose in 7 and you're like, wow, you forfeit game one, you lose in game 7. What happens if you win?
I'm not too worried just because of the leadership and the veterancy that they've got. Like, they've got guys that have obviously won Stanley Cups. So, there's I think they'll be okay. I'm we'll get into some of the other stats as we get there, but I think there are definitely some cases where that rust can show. Goaltending and that sort of thing. So,
so here we have a large selection of stats for you to enjoy. Green team is the leader in this particular series, and that's the rank in the league is what's in the parentheses there. So Pittsburgh, definitely the better offense. Third in the league in goals for, 6th in expected goals for, versus Philadelphia being 22 and 25th in that, respectively. But Philly, a much tighter defensive system. It's a Rick Tocchet team, so of course it's going to be tight defensively. And Pittsburgh, a bit more loosey-goosey, but I think if we isolate it to maybe like the last 2 months, those numbers are going to be quite a bit better than how they started.
I would definitely say that the Penguins are more loosey-goosey. They're a high-flying. They're going to want to win games 6-4. They're not going to want to win games 2-1. They're going to want to have more things. So if they can get the get the lid off of the goal and start putting some in, even if it's both teams putting them in, I think that heavily benefits the Penguins.
Yeah.
With their style. It is very interesting though to see the dichotomy of these two Pennsylvania teams. Just like, I think they couldn't be more opposite of each other. I think Penguins are extremely high flying offense. And the Flyers have one of the more sturdy and capable defensive structures in the National Hockey League. They are quite good at preventing high danger chances, and so it'll be interesting, the battle of strengths. What really goes on. It'll be interesting, but I think one thing that could potentially break that up is special teams. Because if we look at the special teams here, the Penguins have the 7th ranked power play at 24.1%, and the 7th ranked penalty kill at 81.4%. While the Flyers, 15.7% on the power play, that is the worst in the National Hockey League, and 77.6% on the PK, which is 22nd. So special teams not a strength of the Flyers. While it is one of the Penguins. And then kind of related to that, you have the penalty minutes there. Flyers have 700 penalty minutes, 699, while the Penguins have 588. So the Flyers take a lot of penalties, and they don't kill them very well. The Penguins power play has been extremely capable. Erik Karlsson is one of the best power play quarterbacks in the National Hockey League. There's a lot of candidates for that, but in terms of late, I think it's hard to argue against EK being among the best. There is. So that'll be interesting to see how the games get refereed. I think is going to be a big deal. We know there's going to be physicality coming from the Flyers specifically. So the question is going to be, what's going to get called? What do the referees think is an acceptable level of physicality? There's going to be scuffles. There's going to be after the whistle nonsense. Anything that gets called benefits the Penguins.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, special teams could easily just win this series for Pittsburgh. Without even concerned about yourself with 5-on-5 or goaltending or any other factors, just because Philadelphia is not going to score a power play goal in the series. Maybe they get one, but with those numbers, it's going to be hard to see them score hardly any. And Pittsburgh should be able to get a few, especially with Philadelphia taking
For
penalties.
sure. There's a lot of talent on that Pittsburgh power play unit. One thing I will point out is that, of late, the Penguins' penalty kill has been significantly worse. It was a lot better towards the beginning of the year. They've missed a lot of time from Blake Lizotte specifically, who is one of their biggest penalty killers. He is projected to be back for the playoffs. Maybe not in game one. We'll see. He's kind of day to day. We're not 100% sure where we'll see him, but that's a huge boon for Pittsburgh if he plays, because he's a big part of why they've been so good at killing the penalties.
Mm-hmm. The GSAX in the middle is the goal saved above expected. This is only the starter for these, so didn't look at the backup. And the starter I chose for Pittsburgh is Stuart Skinner, because he had been playing slightly more than Seelovs as of late, but not by much, and has, I guess they both kind of have some pedigree in the playoffs, but has more pedigree than you kind of expected. They're going to hitch their wagon to Skinner if they're going to hitch their wagon to either.
Yeah, Dan Muse hasn't come out and said specifically what his strategy with goalies is going to be going in. The only thing that I would be willing to bet is that Stuart Skinner starts game one. Yeah, that I'm pretty sure about. But after that, I think it could be anything. So they could ride Skinner.
They'll have short leashes.
Yeah, probably, because both of them have had streaks of being very good and being not very good. So. But honestly, like the 14th in goals saved above expected for Stu Skinner on this Penguins team, that's pretty good, all things considered. So,
And then Dan Vladar has had a phenomenal season out in Philadelphia, breaking into the top 10. Not anything I expected coming into this year, that he was going to hold down a starter spot as well as he has, much less being, a borderline top 10 goalie in the league.
Yeah, he's been very solid.
That's going to be a big reason why Philly wins if they win, is Dan Vladar plays well and Skinner Seelovs combine and have like a bad streak of games, and you only need to have a bad 4 to 7 games.
Yeah,
right?
I think more so than Philly winning, it'll be Pittsburgh losing off of the back of their goaltending. I think Dan Vladar is a guy that can steal games, especially since Philly is good at keeping them low scoring. So that is obviously the case, but I think more so than that happening, I think more likely is that Skinner or Sheelovs is going to be the one to lose Pittsburgh the series, just because if their goaltending isn't up to snuff and some low scoring games, then that's the difference maker right there.
Yeah. Both these teams almost identical in blocking shots, so they're both willing to get down with that. Interestingly, Pittsburgh generates a lot more takeaways than Philadelphia, but also have a lot more D-zone giveaways. It was shocking to see them at 28th in D-zone giveaways.
It's not shocking for me to see.
I guess it's shocking for a team that makes the playoffs to be like bottom 5 in defensive zone giveaways with some suspect goaltending. That seems like a combo that isn't going to get you a playoff spot.
Yeah.
But their offense obviously is so good, and their special teams.
It's really interesting. I think this is another case of like strength on strength. Philly is pretty good at breaking the puck out of their own zone, hence their lower number of D-zone giveaways, while the Penguins are very, very good at taking the puck away, at forechecking. They're I think one of the more tenacious forechecking teams. They look very they're like the Florida Panthers if they never hit anybody. I would say, with the style that they like to go for, where they'll get pucks in deep and they'll try and pinch and trap the defenseman as they're trying to take it out of their zone. And that starts some good front to back possession. So we'll see how good Philly's defensemen are going to be at actually getting the puck out and adapting to that forecheck style. And we'll see if the Penguins just turn the puck over in their own zone like they have in so many games that I've watched. They just make sloppy passes in their zone, and they've struggled a lot with the better forechecking teams. So
yeah, and I think that like the high D zone giveaways with Philadelphia being a more aggressive, heavier hitting team, that be another pathway for Philly to potentially win is they just kind of batter the Penguins' defense and pressure them and forcing turnovers. And Vladar plays well enough to where you do that twice and you win a game 2-1.
Yeah,
if you can stay out of the box. So there's a couple pathways for Philly, but I think it's going to be pretty tough for them overall. So you talked about the experience of Pittsburgh earlier. You referenced it. Between their players, they have 1,159 playoff games in their total roster of their whole career. So not just with the Penguins, with 12 total Stanley Cups. Of course, 9 of them are Malkin, Letang, and Crosby, with 3 each. Philadelphia has 218 games of playoff experience combined on their roster with 0 Stanley Cups to their name. So
wow.
Yeah. And then the age on this particular graphic, I pulled the age late, and I think it was only considering like who was dressed for the last game, and Pittsburgh rested a lot of their guys. Earlier this season, they had, I think, the second highest average age in the NHL. So that number's a little bit scuffed. And then neither of these teams have played much playoff hockey recently. The Penguins, I went back to 2022 because everything before that, not everything, the previous 2 playoffs are weird. You have like the Canadian division that's also in the Western Conference, and Montreal won it, so that's weird. And then the bubble playoffs with the play-in round. So I just cut off at 2022 the last 4 years. So Pittsburgh only made the playoffs once in that run in the past 4 years. They lost in round 1 to New York. Philadelphia had to go back to 2020 to those said bubble playoffs where they beat Montreal and then lost to the Islanders. So neither team has a lot of recent playoff history. Obviously, Pittsburgh has a ton of old playoff history.
10 years ago. 10 years ago, we'd be talking different. So
9 years ago, yeah. So going through just a month-by-month breakdown of how these teams got here, Pittsburgh came out of the gate super hot in October. Philadelphia was fine. In October, Malkin came out super hot, turned the clock back. Didn't maintain that the whole season, but
did maintain a point-per-game pace, though. His first, I think, in 2 years. So definitely turning back the clock there. Yeah.
And then Zegers fit in immediately with Philadelphia. What an addition that has been for them this summer. And then teams have very opposite Novembers. Pittsburgh pretty poor November overall, and Philadelphia actually had a pretty decent November as they put things together. December, Pittsburgh again kind of average, but they make a few moves. They acquired Chinikov and Stuart Skinner. Chinikov has been a revelation for this team. It's been the juice that they needed in the top 6. And Philadelphia was kind of not that great. They were fine in December.
Yeah, the Penguins had a great October, and then they cooled off really hard in November and December, including in December they had that streak of, I want to say it was a 6 or 7 game losing streak, including like multiple 3-goal leads that they blew. That was when everyone was like, oh no, this is the same old Penguins. Then Skinner and Chinikov showed up and kind of turned the game around, I would say. Turned the season around.
Yeah. And turned it around for sure in January where they went 11-2-2. One of the best teams in hockey for the month. And Philadelphia did the complete opposite. They were terrible. They went 4-8-3 in January. Other than Travis Konechny, they couldn't get anything done. And February, weird month with the Olympic break taking up most of it. But Pittsburgh made another key addition, picking up Sam Girard, who has bolstered their top 6. It's a bit of a weird fit for a couple weeks, trying to find out where he fit, but they eventually found the pairing with Letang, and that pairing has been quite nice.
That pairing has been really good since it kind of solidified into being where he was going to be. So,
yeah, and Vladar had a great month. Played almost all the games, had a .936 save percentage, 177 goals against average. So he played really well. And then both teams had a good March. Philadelphia had a great March. Pittsburgh had a good March. Carlson and Raquel had great Marches.
Yeah, they did.
Everybody else was good and fine, but Carlson he went nuclear in this month, and Raquel putting up double-digit goals for a month is pretty crazy. Considering he doesn't hit 30 in the season, so he got almost half his goals in a single month.
He had a 9-game point streak that had 10 goals in it.
Yeah, that's wild. And then April, again, it looks worse for Pittsburgh because they forfeit 3 games, essentially. Malkin went over a point per game, but Philadelphia didn't have that luxury and had to try for the whole month. So they end up going 6-2 and super hot. And I could have put that they added Porter Martone, but I want to shout out Michkov being almost half a point per game, or almost a point and a half per game for the month. Because Porter Martone did come in the last game of March and has been really good. And then lastly, we're just going to shout out a few what we kind of identified in the summer of like just key positions for the playoffs. So like really important is your 1C is essential. The list of Stanley Cup winning 1Cs is like a who's who of the Hall of Fame in the history of the league. 2Cs also really important. 1Ds is, again, another who's who of the Hall of Fame for most teams. Your 1G, not as important, but still kind of important. And then, the leading scorer. And then we picked just a couple other guys because you kind of missed some names with just those. So we picked an X factor for the forwards and defense. And I also want to highlight the third lines because there's so many great third lines. Pittsburgh, obviously, knows about great third lines with the HBK. Line of the 2016-17 Cups.
I think they got another one. They got another one here. So
yeah. And then showing out who's on the injury report going into Game 1. So starting off, Sidney Crosby, still the 1C. He's, I think, starting to slow down a little bit. Didn't hit point per game this season.
Did. He only.
Oh yeah, he hit points per game played. Yeah. So yeah, I think he's starting to slow down just a little bit, not much. But like I don't think he's going to be in the conversation for a Hart this year.
Right.
Whereas previously he was, a staple in that conversation. Here I don't think he has too much of an argument for a Hart Trophy. Trevor Zegras has been kind of fantastic this year. Has bounced back to the exciting player he was in Anaheim. Interesting 2C battle here between Raquel and Dvorak.
Yeah. Interesting 2Cs, I would say. For those who have not been paying attention to the Penguins for the last couple months, basically when Crosby got injured for the 4 seasons, they started playing Raquel at center because they just needed more centers. And it was okay. But as he got more into it, it started working really well, and that was when he got really hot, scored a lot of goals. It seemed like he was playing really well from the center position. So he's actually been centering the Malkin line, the second line, of late because Malkin has not taken a face-off since he got injured back in November. So he had a shoulder injury. He hasn't really taken a face-off since then. So Raquel has been the 2C of late. He's looked very, very good recently as the 2C. This graph of his season isn't good it doesn't really paint a whole picture because he had a really, really slow start to the season. He got injured early and then didn't come back from that injury particularly well. It took him a while to get back into the swing of things. But right now, I think he's cooking on all sides. And Dvorak is an interesting 2C too, I think, because I think he's pretty solid defensively. I think he's pretty decent at that, and I think he just kind of can be a passenger to good wingers on his line. He's done a really good job at that this year. So I think that's pretty interesting. Both of these teams, I would say, on their second line, their best player is not their center. So that is pretty interesting, I would say.
And Dvorak did not come into the season as a 2C. He came in the bottom 6, and there's questions of does he fit in this roster at all at this point? With them looking a lot younger, where does he fit? Is he a guy who's going to be important for this team, and he's the 2C that got into the playoffs for the first time in 6 years.
He absolutely earned his spot there. He's played quite well.
Yeah.
So
the 1D position, Erik Karlsson, phenomenal season. 15 goals, 66 points. Honestly, has looked pretty solid in his own end too. Not like the Erik Karlsson of like
last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, like he's been pretty solid defensively. He's not like going to win any kind of defensive awards, but he's been quite good. And then Travis Sanheim is just quietly solid.
Yeah.
The same way he's been pretty much his entire career. Probably not, the 1D that you would wish you have. But he's a good defenseman.
I think Sanheim kind of, I think both of these players kind of embody like their respective teams' like philosophies. With Sanheim being like kind of like quietly solid, I would say like pretty responsible for what he is. Kind of sets the tone there defensively, and EK being lights out. Blazing, doing all his crazy stuff. You're right that he's been better defensively this year, but I'd still say like that the Erik Karlsson that is Erik Karlsson is like dangling, pinching behind the goal line, like all that stuff. And that's not Sanheim's game as much.
No.
So yeah.
I mean, a potential huge gap here is, as we said earlier, Skinner and Vladar. Have had very different seasons. These Skinner numbers are isolated to just his Pittsburgh performances, so didn't include Edmonton in this. But Vladar, almost a 30-win season, 906 save percentage. Average save percentage is under 900 for the season for the first time in forever. So being a 906 is pretty impressive. Skinner's 885 doesn't look great.
Yeah, but we saw the goals saved above expected before. Like Skinner is a guy that can make the big stops, can make the big plays. Yeah. He was not that far behind on that thing. So, but yeah, obviously consistency is I think the big thing, the big issue that Skinner has had. Vladar has had it this year. Historically, who knows what happened? Like playoffs can be a completely different beast in terms of like consistency and stuff like that. You can have a good regular season and then struggle in the playoffs, or you can continue that momentum. Vladar's certainly been very good this season. So yeah, it's interesting.
Both teams' leading scorer probably not in the top 5 for either team, and like who you would pick in the preseason. To lead their team in scoring. Anthony Mantha leads Pittsburgh with 33 goals.
Career year for him.
Career year, bounce back year from being cast off from Washington and Calgary, and looking like he might fade out of the league pretty quickly here, and then signed a prove it deal with Pittsburgh that both of us talked about in the offseason. Like, oh well, you put him on Sid's wing, and you could flip him at the deadline for a third.
Yeah, it's like no, like he looks like this upcoming season he might be one of the premier UFAs available.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. See if Pittsburgh's able to keep him around. Yeah. And then Owen Tippett, good winger in his own right, but this is a team that has Zegras. This is a team that has Travis Konechny, who I think finished at 26 or 27 goals, so he was just behind Matt Van Michkov. Like, they have some very good forwards on this team. And Owen Tippett leads the way with 28 goals on the season. No 30-goal scorer on this team. Still made the playoffs. Both these teams are kind of a scoring by committee.
For sure. You can get goals from up and down the lineup for both of these teams. I think they both of them kind of thrive because of the depth that they have. So
these are going to be two of the weakest leading goal scorers of the playoff teams that we look at throughout all the series.
I mean, it's two of the weakest 1Cs in terms of their point performance too. I think both of those 1Cs are the top point scorers as well on the team. Maybe TK had 68.
Yeah, TK had he had one
68 instead of 67 Zegras. Compared to Zegras, but still 68 and 74 are probably the lowest points totals that you'll see amongst any of the playoff teams. Yeah. So really, both teams doing it by committee. They have a lot of guys that are pretty good.
A lot
of guys that are pretty good.
Yeah, both teams can score with just about any line on the ice, which isn't something you can always say for some teams. Groupings here. So some X factors for forwards. We picked Evgeny Malkin, as you alluded to earlier. Point per game for the first time in a couple of years. Obviously, didn't play the whole slate with his 61 points.
Former Conn Smythe winner.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, former playoff MVP. You gotta have him as an X factor.
He's an X factor.
He can also be like the opposite side of the X factor. Yeah. Like he can just lose you a game.
He can take a couple bad penalties and lose you a game, or lose you 5.
Yeah.
Or try his best to lose you 5 when he got suspended earlier in the year.
He gets suspended,
but he still, for being 39 years old, still can show you flashes of that guy that can just take over games. He had a hat trick this year.
Yeah.
Like he can take over games, he can take over series. I think if he gets hot, I think he's going to be hard to stop.
Yeah. And then on the other side of the coin, picked Porter Martone. Could have gone Travis Konechny, who is probably their X factor from October to almost all of March. But Martone in 9 games has 10 points, has been very good. Over in the NCAA, I have his numbers off to the side: 25 goals, 25 assists, 50 points in his 36, I think, NCAA games. So he was phenomenal for Michigan State. And he has come over and has fit in extremely well.
Yeah, he's just another high-end winger that they've kind of added, which has been, I think what they kind of have is just like lots of very good wingers. He's just kind of giving them another one, which is pushing guys like Michkov down even further in the depth chart, right? Which means there's just more scoring available for the team, right? Fun fact, Malkin is more than double the age of Porter Martone. Porter Martone was not alive when Malkin made his debut in the National Hockey League. I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, that's wild.
Good picks on the X factors. Oh, good picks there.
Yeah. And then on defense, not quite the same age gap, but we have Chris Letang for Pittsburgh. Lots of guys arguable here.
Yeah,
Letang kind of because of his pedigree of being a historic Penguin, with multiple cups.
You can't ignore Chris Letang for all of his woes that he's had. He's actually played quite well once this Gerard Letang pairing has settled in. Of late, he's been a lot more solid, and he still provides a lot of energy and a lot of puck movement for the Penguins, and is a big source of a lot of offense for them. So for sure, I think
and notably has been healthy this year. Hasn't almost died on the ice this season. Which is, he has not had a lot of those. And I guess as of late, he's been a little bit better. But
surprisingly, as he's gotten older, he's gotten healthier. So
yeah,
but like you alluded to, there's a lot of good, interesting guys on the Penguins blue line that have had career years. Wotherspoon and Shea both had career years in this Penguin system. Both have been very, very good. So. They're an interesting blue line where they've got lots of guys that can score. So, but Drysdale, I think, is probably the most like the biggest X factor defenseman on either team. I would say he has really had much more form this year, I would say, than like last year and the year before. I think him being better has been a lot of why Philly has been so successful, having like another kind of reliable guy that can make things happen. And he's a guy that can absolutely make things happen with his legs. Great skater, can play make, has scored 8 goals this year. Like honestly, he could be that guy that really pulls them into it because he has all the skill that's required. I think this is his first playoff appearance ever. So
same with Zegras.
Same with Zegras.
Both those Anaheim guys didn't go to the playoffs.
But I think it'll be interesting just because of the Penguins playing style. I wonder if Drysdale is going to get picked on, or if he's gonna rise to the occasion and be really solid for him. Because I think we could see either of those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, he has the talent and the capability
Absolutely.
to be like a stud 1D.
Mm-hmm.
He's had difficult times with injuries and is fit. He might just be a guy who is better on a second pair, who's better not getting all
being
the minutes.
A little more sheltered.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but like he has that ceiling, that talent to be like a stud 1D.
No, you see it. You see it in the offensive zone. He's moving. He's making plays happen. He's very good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. An interesting group of in the third line matchup here. A very young minus Mantha. Not a ton of experience here. We got the Mantha, Kindle, Brazo, the Kindle and Trees line, who's been really fantastic this season.
They've been phenomenal. Mantha and Brazo have been very good together, no matter who you center between them. But Kindle's been quite good this year. Obviously, 18-year-old rookie, just drafted this year, but he's been quite good. This line in particular, though, I think has been really, really nice. Mantha being your team's leading scorer, being on your third line. There's a Crosby line, there's a Malkin line, and then there's this line that contains, basically two big guys that can get net front, and Mantha with his hands that can score. And you put these guys with one of the, like an Erik Karlsson or a Chris Letang or something like that, like they make things happen.
And as you can see, they on the ice, 64.3% of the goals go their way. And the expected isn't quite as high.
But it's still very good.
Brazo and Mantha definitely having career years, playing above their, or producing above their shooting talent that they've displayed so far. But I don't think they're fluky necessarily.
I think they're both guys that they only shoot from really freaking close to the net. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like all of their shots are like point blank. So if you can get pucks to them, whether it's via a tip or via them actually taking a shot, like they're gonna make things happen because they've got the finishing talent for it. So,
and then on the other side, another very young line. You have a rookie in Denver Barkey. On the wings, most likely. That spot's been rotated throughout the year, but that's likely where it ends up. You have Noah Cates centering it, who's been kind of phenomenal. A guy that I've noticed being really
Noah
great.
Cates is phenomenal. Noah Cates is one of the best defensive centers in the National Hockey League. From a shot suppression and a chance suppression metrics, Noah Cates has been absolutely elite this year. Which is he kind of has to be if he's on the line with these two chuckle fucks here.
And then you got Matt Michkov, who he also could have been an X factor because he has just an insane amount of talent and can just take over an individual game. But then he also just disappears for weeks at a time, which is the frustration of all Philadelphia fans and coaches. So maybe he gets hot for a couple games in this playoffs and can swing the series for Philly, or we might be talking about is this guy a real piece of this team at the end of the series because he has one assist in 5 games in a losing series.
This is such I think another big thing that is heavily in the Penguins' favor is I think that their top 3 lines just can match up quite well. All 3 of them can. This third line for the Philly, like you said, is a little bit of an X factor because Michkov can take off, but I just don't know how likely that's going to be that he's going to. I don't think it's that likely that he's going to take over the game or the series in a way that you really can in the playoffs, I guess, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't really know how to phrase it, but it just seems like the solidity is there for the Penguins here when it comes to this third line, and so it's going to be either boom or bust for this line from the Flyers to see if they're able to either match up or are they going to get picked on? Because as good as Cates has been, there's it's definitely not not perfect. So as we can see from
Yeah.
these underlying numbers, so
Yeah.
uh,
And like we'll see what the lines actually look
yeah.
like. They have a lot of wingers
Hmm.
who are sort of
Yeah.
equivalent in production, and they swapped them around. This has been the recent lines, but like Martone could bump
Hmm.
down. You could have Konechny bump down. You could bump
Yeah,
Michkov
you could
up.
play Tyson
Um,
Forster over there. Like
yeah, Forster has been on the third line for a lot of the
so
year
like
until some of the recent changes.
there's
So
definitely like some arrangements that are going to be better than others, but this one looks, I think, pretty. Um, I don't know what is, like it can be taken advantage of.
yeah,
Exploitable. That's the word I'm looking for.
yeah.
Hmm.
And then just noting the injuries that are going in, which I had to look through all the Pittsburgh ones because they're marked all as day to day. So I had to look at who's actually injured. Yeah, Blake Lizotte and Connor
Hmm.
Dewar, 2/3 of their very good fourth
Yep.
line. Um, Lizotte, I think they're hoping for his game one, and Dewar was week to week at the start of the week, so he might be game one out and hopefully game two. We'll see where they actually end up. It's the NHL, so nobody's forthcoming about
Yeah.
timetables, especially this time of year. So, I mean, both these guys could miss the whole series because the team's just not forthcoming with their injury status. But it sounds like they're both going to be available this series at some point early
I
on.
have to imagine that the Penguins would have rushed back Dewar or Lizotte if they like needed to. Just
Mm-hmm.
because like if they had needed to win games, then they would have, but they've given them
Yeah,
the extra time. I definitely expect Lizotte to be back. Dewar, we'll see. I'm not. The injury happened more recently, so I'm not 100% sure
yeah, they
what.
have in game 81 or 80. So
Yeah, so I'm unsure what
yeah,
we'll see there, but
and then Hollander is not a top 12 NHL on this
mhm.
team, but is an injury call up guy that might be higher up on the list of if they have some injuries that they'd like to
I,
call up.
I don't think that'll be the case anymore with how he basically
But
missed the entire season. But
yeah, so
yeah,
I think he's skating. Did he play at all in the AHL
uh, I
recently, or is he
I
just
think
skating?
he played a game and then stopped.
Yeah,
So, it's I don't know.
yeah. And then Caleb Jones on the blue line is a depth guy, and this team has a lot of depth guys now, especially with some of the moves that they made this season. So he's not going to be a big
Yeah.
factor. And if they would have needed him, then it would have been a really bad sign.
Yeah.
And then the other side, Grabenkin and Abels or Abels, they're
Yeah.
extras on this team. So if they have injuries up front, then they may feel these injuries because these are some of the first guys that they're going to look to. Um, and Grabenkin is supposed to be ready at some point in this first round. Abels will not be ready for the
Yeah.
playoffs.
We
So
could also I very likely just not see Gurbankin, even if he does come back. He's kind of
yeah,
uh replaced, I would say, by
yeah,
like a Martone. Like that.
yeah,
Those are the kind like
yeah. Martone, Barkey,
right. Like
the, yeah,
they've found production elsewhere, and they don't need to rely on him for his inconsistencies or anything like that right now. So
yeah. So that concludes it for the series. I think both of us are probably going to lean Pittsburgh.
yeah,
Um,
I think that Pittsburgh probably takes it. I would not be surprised if the Flyers do. Like I could see a Stuart, like you said, there's a lot of ways that the Flyers have to winning it, like a Stuart Skinner meltdown.
mhm,
Playing very well in the Penguins zone in terms of like getting takeaways when they give
yep,
away the puck in their own zone. Penguins are very bad at giving up rush chances, and the Flyers are pretty good at those. They got a lot of fast guys with good hands, so
yep,
there's a lot of ways that the Flyers could win this, but I think between the veterancy and leadership that the Penguins have, plus just like the quality that they've shown just overall over the course of the entire year, I think they've got the edge here.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance it'll come down to special teams. That mismatch is so extreme, and if Philadelphia doesn't take penalties, if they were like one of the least penalized, it would be a lot less felt, I think. But since they are like the fourth most penalized team in the league, I think that
and that
gap is just going to be.
And these series can get very ugly between these two teams. So there's definitely a possibility that just like the magnitude of the series and the way that it shakes out just results in more penalties being called. And if that's the case, then that heavily favors the Penguins.
So you want to give a final series score prediction?
Sure, I'll say
Penguins.
I think Penguins in 6 is probably the closest, the easiest thing to predict.
That's why I think Penguins in 6, or 5 or 6. I think they'll get it done early, in this series, and then the last couple times they beat them is Penguins in 6. So it's good bet. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, or follow, depending if you're on YouTube or Spotify. And we're going to be cranking out all these playoff series as soon as all these teams finish playing their games. So be sure to stay tuned. And we've also got some other fun content about some of the teams that didn't make the playoffs. I think some reviews of some of these teams that had some very disappointing seasons. And then I think once the playoffs kind of start rolling a little bit, we might get into some award talk. So be sure to stay tuned, and thank you all so much, and have a great one. Playoffs, they're here. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please be sure to like and subscribe, and let us know in the comment section, where do you agree with us, where do you disagree with us, and I hope to see you all next time.